We're going to keep hearing lots of information coming out over the coming weeks on what happened day by day with the Emergencies Act, with the illegal protests here in Ottawa and elsewhere across the country. I think one of the most important things, however, is that the province and the federal government stood together.
Justin Trudeau said that police didn't need any more powers to deal with the Freedom Convoy, and then he invoked the Emergencies Act. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. Lots of fascinating evidence and testimony at the Public Order Emergencies Commission. That's the official name for the Emergencies Act inquiry. You've probably heard about the description, the readout of the phone call between Ontario Premier Doug Ford and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Most of the coverage that I saw focused on Ford's use of colorful language, of putting a wire brush up people's posterior, you might say, to get them moving. But that's not the important part. The important part from that was Trudeau saying that police didn't need extra powers. Ford was talking about giving police extra legal tools. This was just days before he used Ontario's declaration of a state of emergency to give police some extra powers. But Trudeau didn't think that was necessary. Let me quote to you from the readout of the phone call. First of all, they're not a legal protest, Trudeau said. They're occupying a municipal street and are not legally parked. You shouldn't need more tools, legal tools. They are barricading the Ontario economy and doing millions of dollars of damage a day and harming people's lives, Trudeau said. Now, what's interesting about that is he's kind of downplaying what's happening. He's making this sound like a municipal parking issue, not something you'd need the Emergencies Act for, but he said clearly there that police don't need extra powers. What do they need to do? Well, further down in the conversation, he states, the police of jurisdiction needs to do their job. If they're saying they can't do it because they don't have enough officers or equipment, we need to remove that excuse as soon as possible, Trudeau said. All right, so police of jurisdiction, that would be the Ottawa Police Service in Ottawa, the Windsor Police Service in Windsor, because the Ambassador Bridge issue was still ongoing at this point. Well, that's not something that you need the Emergencies Act for either. Now, why would Trudeau invoke the Emergencies Act just days later? Did he receive extra information? Did he receive those calls from police? No, we've heard from the Ottawa Police. They didn't ask for the Emergencies Act. Windsor, well, that was actually cleared up before Trudeau invoked it. The Ontario Provincial Police, they said they didn't ask for it. And not only did the Mounties not ask for it, they warned against using it. They said it wasn't needed. Here's an email, February 14th, just after midnight. So really Sunday going into Monday, about 16 hours before they invoked the Emergencies Act, Brenda Lucki, at the end of a long day, emailed Mick Jones, the Chief of Staff to Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino. She said this, I am of the view that we have not yet exhausted all available tools that are already available through existing legislation. CSIS, meanwhile, advised that while, yes, invoking the Emergencies Act might disperse the protests in Ottawa, they warned that it could lead to a further radicalization of people who might feel that violence is their only answer if they're not able to protest. So CSIS warned against it, the RCMP warned against it, no police service called for the Emergencies Act, and yet they did it. Now, why does this matter? Because there's a very steep legal hill to climb. The Emergencies Act is only supposed to be used when there is an emergency that cannot be dealt with any other law. It also has to be an emergency of national security. This was not a national security emergency by any definition, legal or otherwise. And the police, the people advising Trudeau, said it wasn't needed. He did it anyway. Everything we've seen at the Emergencies Act inquiry so far shows that they didn't need to invoke it. All they needed was proper policing, which eventually came and cleared the streets of Ottawa without having to resort to that act. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.